Hey people of the VC, it's Andy Cloudy Mulder. Today we are going to do an 80s vinyl collection update. Been good 5, maybe 6 weeks since I did one of these. I've got 10 records to show, so let's dive straight in. So these are not things I've picked up in the last couple of weeks or since the last video. I've got shelf here. All this stuff is 80s stuff. But I've got it's just a cardboard box basically. It's a vinyl moving box, and that works as my inbox. So when I buy stuff or I get given stuff, I put it in there until I've had a good listen to it and I've clicked with it, and I'm ready to put it on the shelf. And that box is getting a little bit weighty now, so it's time to move some of the good stuff and some of the stuff I've been listening to over onto the main shelf. So. I don't know if you saw I've done a few competition videos recently, which is why I haven't done an update in so long. And the last one I did was for Jared Backwards Metal, and I pulled out a Krokus album for that one. And that kind of got me on a bit of a Krokus kick. Now, Blackmore Rules sent me a couple of Krokus albums as a VCLT a while back. I hadn't spun them for a while, and but it got me in the mood to listen to them. So I pulled them both out. They're both from the 80s, obviously. So let's copy of Headhunter and Hardwire. So start off with the early one. So Hardwire from 1981. This is a Canadian pressing on Areola Records. Nice label there. Yeah, good early 80s hard rock, kind of heavy metal sounding. Tracks like Burning Bones, She's Got Everything, Easy Rocker, Rock City. Really good hard rock album. Great to have that in the Krokus collection. And Headhunters is really good. I like these photos. I don't know if these photos. I presume these photos aren't actual X-rays of their own skulls, because old Steve Pace down here, I mean, he looks one evil looking skull if that is his own X-ray. But this sounds to me like it's got a bit of a Judas Priest twinge to it. So this is a couple of years after Hardwire. This is 1983. This is on Arista, again a Canadian pressing. And yeah, definitely a bit of. I think there's a bit of Judas Priest sound in there. They changed the sound certainly over the last couple of years since Hardwire. Headhunter, Eat the Rich, great tracks. My favourite track of all, though, probably on here is Nightwolf, which is the first track on the B-side. But excellent album. This has get played quite a bit. Very good. Krokus, mid-80s. Next up, I got some. I guess southern rock. Blackfoot, a band that I wasn't really familiar with, and again something that Greg hooked me up with on 2 occasions actually. So 7 numerous times I met Greg last year in Birmingham, and we went digging. And at that time I picked up the live album Highway Song, and he since sent me studio album Blackfoot Strikes. Well, live album, really enjoy this. Really like it. It's filmed in the UK. It's recorded in the UK. It's not a single concert. There are tracks here taken from their gigs in London, Edinburgh, Newcastle, and possibly elsewhere as well. But great interaction between the band and the crowd. There's the back, and yeah, for all you people that are still insist on killing music, home taping, it'll do it for you. But yeah, I really enjoy this. It kind of feels kind of high energy, and subsequently when I heard this one, so this is 79, not really, okay, it's not 80s, but it's close enough. This one I didn't click with. First time I played it, which is why it's been in. Greg sent me this months ago, and it's been in the box waiting to have a second coming, and I just didn't click with it. I find some southern rock difficult to digest myself, and I was kind of ready to give up on it. I was thinking before I made this video that this would be one that I would say I'm probably going to pass on and give up for trade or VCRT or something. But I played it straight after. I played this one today. I played this straight after, and I enjoyed it a bit more. The tracks, things like Highway Song and Train, and there's one other, Road Fever, that are on here. They don't really click as well. They're slower. They don't have the, I guess, the audience participation in it. You can't hear the sound of the crowd, and it's a similar thing as when I first heard Iron Maiden. Live After Death was the first album I ever heard, and then it took me a while to get into Peace of Mind, because the songs on there, they just seem slow and sluggish in comparison, and that's probably what's happening here a bit. So I heard enough today to certainly keep hold of it and certainly give it another spin in future. So adding a couple of Blackfoot to the shelves. Next up, my birthday was about 6 weeks ago now. A bit sad to take the day off, and I go record shopping in a few of the record shops I don't tend to get to very often in Edinburgh, and I set myself a task this time of set myself a budget. Always do. I set myself the same budget as I did last year. Last year I bought as many records as I could. This time I thought, okay, let's try and find some gems if I can. Let's go for quality over quantity, and I think I did all right. So first up, this is a Belgian band. This was a blind buy called Killer, and this is Shockwaves. With that cover. Look at these guys here as well. So we've got Spooky, Killer Tash, Double Barrel on drums, and Shorty, again a Killer Tash. Bit of a Jack Black look to him. This is great stuff. So this is the main reason, the thing that attracted me to this, and I did look up on my phone to see if it was a good deal or not, and it was, is it's on the Mausoleum label. That's a Belgian label, and this Mausoleum releases don't show up very often in the wild, certainly where I live. I've only got about 2 or 3 releases from Mausoleum, and never failed to disappoint. So Belgian label, they did go bust eventually, but generally speaking, if I see something on Mausoleum, I'll pick it up. Belgian heavy metal, got a bit of a Motorhead feel to it. Motorhead mixed with heavy metal, and you got yourself a good album. Very, very good. Check them out if you've not already heard them. And some great band shots on here as well. From this is the inner sleeve in absolute mint condition. Stance on the bass player there, superb. Oh, and this one especially here. That's a killer photo. There we go. Now, even when they're out jamming in the street, they've got the poses. So yeah, lyrics and just on the inner sleeve. There we go. Next up was an upgrade, which I couldn't pass down. Magnum Chase the Dragon, one of my favourite Magnum albums. Not too much to say on this. I've actually shown this before when I picked it up recently, but a classic Rodney Matthews cover. The last one I bought had a big tear here and somewhere on here as well, but I couldn't pass up a copy in such good condition, so add that to collection. So I do actually have a second copy of this to pass on as and when I find the opportunity. Next one. This one is it was one I've been looking for a while in decent condition, but ultimately I'm a little disappointed. But so Steve Vai, again, not strictly 80s. This is 1990. This is Passion and Warfare. I had this on cassette back in the day, an original cassette, so I wasn't killing music at that moment in time, and I loved it. And but I played this recently. In fact, I've only played it once since I bought it, and I didn't enjoy it. I don't know. It sounded a bit more kind of improvised and experimental than I remember. Some of the tracks sound like he just came out of recording Eat 'Em and Smile with David Lee Roth, and I kept waiting for his lyrics to kick in because the sound was so similar to that album that he played on. I'm not going to give up on it yet, but I was just surprised because I had such high hopes for this, but it didn't hit the spot, which was a shame. But it's in superb condition. I've been waiting for a copy of it for a long time. I was just a little bit disappointed at the end, but it will come out again. I will give it another go. Just not yet. So, oh yeah, and the label's quite nice though. I quite like the label, the food for thought label with the fried eggs on them. That's quite nice. Now, the last three I thought were really good finds. I was shocked to find them all in the same shop, and they were pricey. They were more than I would normally pay going into a second-hand shop. I'm normally pretty cheap, but a check on Discogs online to see what they've been sold for recently. They were all too good a deal to turn down. So I went for them. Cheers. And right, so the first one, and I love this cover. This is Witchfind, Lords of Sin. So this is it's stranger, it's not a double album, it's a single album, but it has Lords of Sin on this side, which is an album, and on this side it has a 12-inch single called Anthems. So Lord of Sin is I think it's the fourth studio album from Witchfind. Witchfind aren't a band I'm that familiar with. They're kind of one of the early influences in new wave of British heavy metal. The singer on here, I think the previous album, the third album, was changed from the original sound. So I say I'm not too familiar with their early stuff. This isn't really heavy metal to me. This is kind of, it's more of a hard rock, bit of a prog rock type mix. It's not the sort of it's not like headbanging music. Obviously, they've got a bit of the occult imagery associated with them. Let's see here on the gatefold as well. But it's a very cool album nonetheless. Songs like The Lord of Sin, Scarlet Lady, Wall of Death. It's a good album. I enjoy it. Again, it's on Mausoleum. As I say, I don't see Mausoleum records very often, but when I do, they're mine. The 12-inch single actually is it's 4 live tracks, and they're tracks from the Give 'Em Hell, which I think was their first album, Cloak and Dagger, yeah. So tracks from the first couple of albums, really. But yeah, excellent. I'm so stoked when I saw it, and I had to grab it. It's in fantastic condition, and yeah, great stuff. Next up was a band that I hadn't heard of before, but as soon as I saw the cover, I thought, one, it's got to be metal, and two, it's probably got to be new wave of British heavy metal. Again, a quick scan online showed me that it was a good deal, so I went for it. And this is A to Z, The Witch of Berkeley live. Now, A to Z named themselves after there's a set of street map guides in the UK called A to Z, and apparently that's what they named themselves after, which is possibly original but a bit naff. Couple of brothers, Dave and Gary Owens, made up the band. So they were part of the early new wave of British heavy metal scene, so much so they got snapped up by Polydor for their first album. So they're on a major album. It's their first album. They decided to release a live album as their first album, which is interesting. And then this is all they released. They had a couple of 12-inch singles after, which quite hard to come by all accounts. There's one I'm looking at on eBay at the moment, but it's quite pricey. I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on it yet, just for a 12-inch single. But this is really raw sounding. It's really good. I really like it. Really enjoy it. Fortunately, I'm not listening to it really enough to tell you which songs to really look for. But you'll probably find this on YouTube if you look for it. But yeah, really good. Give it a few spins, and I love it. Apparently they changed a couple of members of the band after this and tried to go a bit more of an AOR route, and it failed, and they got dropped by Polydor and never seen again. So but it's a great album. I'm really glad I've got it in the collection. So A to Z, The Witch of Berkeley, or Barclay probably. And finally, I think the pick of the bunch, because I never ever see this band in the wild while out digging, and that is Tank, Power of the Hunter. Again, more they would normally walk into a second-hand shop and pay, but certainly less, as I found out, than I would end up having to pay for online. So this is obviously Algie Ward's band Tank. This is their second album, Power of the Hunter. Really good early new wave of British heavy metal. It's even got a cover of the Osmonds' Crazy Horses. Great stuff. I've since picked up a couple of other Tank albums on vinyl. I'm just missing the really hard to come by ones now. But yeah, so it was a great day out digging. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I think I did well. I think I picked up probably half the albums I did last year on the same digging expedition. But I'm much more stoked with what I picked up this time. So that's I think that's the 10 albums. 18 minutes. I've got another, probably more of a general collection update, newer albums, non-80s related stuff coming up next. There's a couple of other good competitions going on at the moment. Really enjoying doing those. I tend to get less views on them, but you know, that's not really why I'm doing this. I like doing the competitions because I like showing records. I like talking. And I like supporting your channels, so keep them coming. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe. I'm near the 300, so every little helps. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you again soon. Cheers.